We're ready to rock and roll on this beautiful Monday. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. If you can, hit the like button, hit the share button, and tag Lolly Dolly, everybody. And let them know Ramon, the squad, and the Ramon Preston Show. We are live in his house right here on this Monday in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Hit that like button, hit the share button, and tag Lolly Dolly, everybody. And please, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are coming on, would you be so kind to put in the comments what city you're watching your boy from, who you represent, because we're going to have an amazing show today. I'm going to be talking to you today about the number one thing entrepreneurs should focus on. Some of y'all already know what I'm going to be talking about today. This might be a little twist to some of my other conversations, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So please hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know we are live on the Ramon Preston Show on this beautiful Monday. And guess what? This is the day that the Lord has made. We're already rejoicing and we're glad in it because we are up, we are moving, we are shaking, we are banging, we are making things happen. And my hope and expectation is that you're doing the absolute same. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I'm your host, Ramon Preston, and every week, Monday through Friday, we come to you bringing you information that is designed to help you properly start, structure, and scale all of your businesses, your ministries, your income streams, even your wealth building dreams. And maybe like me, you're doing all of the above. And our job, our goal, our objective, our purpose for this show is to provide information to you that can help you execute that plan successfully to get you to your expected end. And please keep in mind, everything that I share with you on the show, it's a direct extension of our company and what we represent as a company. That is our consulting division, our coaching division, and our training division. So you can rest assured that everything that I share with you on a daily basis is information that I live, my team, they live, my family lives. Everybody that comes in close proximity to me, they live it because I'm going to demand it. I'm going to expect it. I'm going to require it. And I'm going to challenge people to live it. And that's what I want to do for you, because I know once you get a hold of the principles and the practices that we teach in our company through our consulting, coaching, and training divisions, it's going to change and transform your whole entire life. So today's show is going to be centered around the number one thing entrepreneurs should focus on. The number one thing entrepreneurs should focus on. So I have a lot of information I'm going to be sharing with you, okay? And I know it's going to help you. So let's focus on the number one thing entrepreneurs should focus on. Like, is that a play on words? Let's focus on the number one thing entrepreneurs should focus on. But before I do, I got a couple stats that I want to share with you, just in case you don't know. Statistics show that there are 1,700 millionaires made every day in the United States of America. Did you know that? Every day, 1,700 people become millionaires in the U.S. Let me say it again. You might have just missed it. Every day for 365 days of every year, 1,700 people become millionaires in the United States of America. Think about that. So today, there are 1,700 people who are going to become millionaires in the United States of America, which equals out to approximately 100 and, what did I write down? I remember I did my math earlier. 146,000 people just in this fourth quarter. So between now and December the 31st, 146,000 people will become millionaires. That's powerful. Because number one, there's a lot of information in this statistic that I want to show you even before we get into the number one thing. Well, what it shows me is, number one, there's a possibility that I can.
Facebook?
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's
It's not on? There's a possibility. There's a possibility that I can. Are we on YouTube?
You're on YouTube.
Okay.
It's good for Facebook.
So Facebook might be a little slow.
Something going on with that.
Yeah, you know Facebook be dragging with they little slow behind.
Yeah, the service
It's a connection issue.
It's going in and out.
The service going slow.
Oh, just period.
Yeah, because Facebook's still searching.
Oh wow, even on YouTube.
No, YouTube.
Oh, we're good. Okay, YouTube, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I can.
Well, they need to just come on over to YouTube.
Yeah.
So anyway, when you look at these stats, 1,700 people a day, 1,700 people a day become millionaires in the U.S. All right, that means this quarter, between now, October, and December, there are going to be 146,000 people that become millionaires. Here's what I want you to wrap your mind around before I move past this. There is a possibility that you can become a millionaire, and you don't have to wait 30 years to become a millionaire. So that kind of diffuses and debunks a lot of this whole theory that, oh, well, if you did this for the next 30 years, you'll be a millionaire. First of all, ain't nobody got time to wait 30 years. We got things that we need to do right now. So I want you to wrap your mind around the fact that every day 1,700 people are breaking that $1 million threshold. And this quarter alone, between now and December the 31st, 146,000 people are going to cross that threshold and be able to celebrate that they are, to some extent, many of them are going to be the first millionaires in their family. And even if they're not the first millionaires in their family, they are officially millionaires. This is what you should really be wrapping your mind around, even before I give you the number one thing that entrepreneurs should focus on. You got to wrap your mind around this, because if you ain't wrapping your mind around this, what I share with you after this ain't gonna really mean nothing to you, and it ain't gonna really provoke you to push the envelope, to really think like a millionaire entrepreneur. So this shows you that there's a possibility you can become a millionaire in 2021. There is a possibility, because whatever you do between now and the end of December will determine if in fact you become a part of this 146,000 that become millionaires. All right, here's the second statistic I want to attach to this. 4% of today's millionaires, this is powerful, are entrepreneurs. So 4% of today's millionaires are entrepreneurs. Now think about this. We have 1,700 people a day that become millionaires, but only 4% of today's millionaires are actually entrepreneurs or small business owners. So that means out of the 1,700 people a day that become millionaires, only about 70 of these people are small business owners or entrepreneurs. So that shows you the percentage or the ratio of entrepreneurs and small business owners that actually become millionaires is low. Because a lot of these people, I mean, look, out of 1,700, like over 1,630 of these people that become millionaires are not necessarily entrepreneurs. They are intrapreneurs. They are CEOs of companies that they work for. They are executives. They actually work a job. They don't necessarily own a business as an entrepreneur or a small business owner. So this is kind of like the determining factor for some of you who are entrepreneurs, because if you are an entrepreneur or a small business owner, the likelihood of you becoming a millionaire is extremely low compared to other people who are in positions like these 1,700 people are in to become a millionaire. So 1,700 people every day become a millionaire. And 4% of today's millionaires are entrepreneurs or business owners. So if you just took the number of people who become millionaires a day and just looked at 4% of that, that's around 70 people, maybe 68, but let's just say 70 people. That's how many people become millionaires every day who are entrepreneurs. That number is extremely, extremely low. And that brings me to the number one thing entrepreneurs should focus on. So why out of 1,700 people every day are only 70 people becoming millionaires that are entrepreneurs? Matter of fact, let me do the math on this. Because if it's 104, I still got the number in my I still got the number I did early on, the 146. So let's times that by 4%. So that's 5848. So out of all the people that are going to become millionaires, because statistics show, just want to show you this. Statistics show that between now, October the 4th, and December the 31st, okay, of this year, there are going to be about 146,000 people who will become millionaires. You got that? Out of that number, based on the 4% statistic, only about 6,000 of these millionaires will be entrepreneurs. Man, that is really low. That's really low, because we have about 32 million. We have about 32 million small business owners or entrepreneurs in the United States. We have about 32 million. And we're talking about only about 6,000 of these entrepreneurs will become millionaires this year. That's a big problem. So that means there's a lot of things that's going on with entrepreneurs that need to change. Can we all agree on that? If those numbers that we just talked about hold true, can we all agree today that there are some things that need to change with entrepreneurs if entrepreneurs, small business owners, are going to put themselves in a position to actually succeed? Because if you're not wrapping your mind around becoming a millionaire, at least a millionaire as an entrepreneur or small business owner, most likely you're not going to grow. Most likely you're not going to hire people. Most likely you're going to struggle and never really break through any financial threshold, because you haven't wrapped your mind around the reality that out of the 1,700 people that become millionaires every day, out of the 146,000 people who will become millionaires this year, there are only about 6,000 of those people that will be entrepreneurs or small business owners. Now, how are you going to either become a part of that 6,000? Now, you can go the other route and say, oh, we want to change the game. We're going to be the exception to the rule. We're going to be the unicorn. We're going to be the one that do something never been done before. You know what? While you're trying to figure out how to be the unicorn, let me just try to be one of the 6,000. So instead of me trying to change that system, let me change my system and figure out what I need to do to be one of those 6,000, just in case those numbers are true and just in case those statistics stay the same. So the number one thing entrepreneurship focused on, I'm going to give it to you. And I got a lot of things that I want to share with you and really teach you with this. So what is the number one thing entrepreneurship focused on? I'm going to give it to you. I'm simplifying it. The number one thing is top line revenue. This is the number one thing right here. So you need to write that down. The number one thing entrepreneurship focused on is top line revenue. If you're focused on anything else as an entrepreneur, this is why you may never be one of those 6,000 people. Now, through the course of a year, based on the statistics, you're looking at maybe 25,000 people. Let's just do the math. Every year, 25,000 people typically become millionaires as entrepreneurs. So every year there's somewhere around 25,000 entrepreneurs or small business owners that become millionaires. 25,000. But what is going to put you in that 25,000 ratio? Hey, let's just be honest. What is even going to put you in the ballpark, in the race, on the track, on the field to even making that score? I'm going to tell you what is the number one thing every entrepreneur should be focusing on, and that is your top line revenue. This is the number one thing every entrepreneur should be focusing on. Now, I got a lot of things I want to share with you, but let's break down what does this mean? When I say top line revenue, what are some words can we associate to this? When I say top line revenue, what are some words? I want you to drop some words in the comments. What are some words that reflect top line revenue? Or what are some words that could be used as synonyms for top line revenue? What are some words associated to top line revenue? While you're writing some down, let me give you some. Sales. That's a word. So for those of you that are entrepreneurs, you are small business owners, you might be a ministry leader or nonprofit executive. If you have ever looked at a financial statement, a profit and loss statement, in most cases, what is at the top of that financial statement? What is at the top of that financial statement? You're going to see words like sales. You're going to see words like revenue. You're going to see words like profit. You may even see words like gross, sales, revenue, or profit. But here's what I want you to understand. Whether you're using the word sales, whether you're using the word profit, it's all considered what? Top line revenue. This is what entrepreneurs should be focusing on. This is what entrepreneurs should be focusing on. Entrepreneurs should be focused on what? Top line revenue. Or you should be focused on making sales. You should be focused on profit. Now, let's assume today you make the decision to focus 100% on top line revenue. Let's just say you just take what I'm saying and you make the commitment in your mind that, you know what, all I'm going to focus on is top line revenue. I need to be an entrepreneur that's focusing on sales, profits, gross sales, revenue, and profits. I need to be focusing on, here's another way I can say it for my hood figures. I need to be focusing on getting that bag. That's what gross sales are. That's what gross revenue or profit is. That's what top line revenue is. You need to be focusing on getting the bag. Getting the bag. Here's another way to put it for you singers and you musical minded people. Money, 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 money. That's what you need to be focusing on. And guess what? If you are an entrepreneur, okay, I'm not talking about you as a humanitarian. I'm not talking about you as a preacher. I'm not talking about you as a philanthropist or you as some community organizer. No. I'm talking to you as an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs should focus on top line revenue. Now, if you are not focused on top line revenue, it's a few things I want to share with you because you might be one of these three types of people. I'm gonna give you a description of three types of people you might be considered, and you may think you are an entrepreneur because a lot of people fit the description of these three that I'm about to give you, and they think they're entrepreneurs. So here are the three types of people I wanna share with you that they think they're entrepreneurs. I'm gonna give you all three of them. So we have number one, we have the hobbyist. Number two, we have the passionist. And then number three, we have, this is a little crazy word. I got to make sure I spell it right. Exhibitionist. Those are the three. So most people think they're entrepreneurs when the truth is they're either hobbyist, they're either passionist, they're either exhibitionists, and or they're a little bit of all three. They're a little bit of all three. But you have to make a decision. Do I want to be an entrepreneur? These things going out. Daughter, you got another, see if you can find another one. I ain't even gonna get upset because I know that Google board is coming soon. Google board coming soon. Google board coming soon. Is that one? It might work.
Yes, Dad.
Let me see. Okay, good. Thank you.
Let me see.
Oh, this is an expo? This should work, huh? Let me see. Oh, this thing here just is broke as. This thing ain't got no money. That thing ain't got no money. Look in there and see if those are.
they gone.
They all gone? Man, I done ran through that whole box.
Yes,
Wow.
$300.
Okay. I'll use this one. So a lot of people think they're entrepreneurs, and the truth is they're hobbyists, they're passionists, or they're exhibitionists. Now here's the crazy thing. When I was putting this show together, I realized that this is such a true description of a lot of people that I know who consider to be entrepreneurs. Because see, the hobbyist. No, I don't need the green. Well, I like money green, so just get here.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me hold it just in case this black one go out.
This money.
Toss it, so I ain't got to get up.
This money.
Money Monday.
Yeah.
It's Money Monday. That's what our COO said. It's Money Monday. Okay. So let's look at the hobbyist. What is a hobbyist? Let me give you an example of what a hobbyist is. A hobbyist is someone who engages in business activity typically for enjoyment during one's leisure time. Think about that. So a hobbyist is somebody who engages in business activity, right? But it's typically for enjoyment during their leisure time. Okay, so these hobbyists are people, they are engaging in business activity, but it's just to feel good. In other words, it's more of a social activity for them. This is just something they do. That's what hobbyists are. Hobbyists are people who just, I like to paint. I just love the art of cutting grass. I just love to do hair. Like, we all have a hobbyist in us because there are a lot of things that we just love to do. We get enjoyment out of doing it. Like, I know people who just love to cook. They're hobbyists. They do it when they have time to do it. Well, when you apply this to entrepreneurship, these are people who engage in business activity, but they're just engaging in it because they enjoy it. So when they have free time, they'll do hair. When they have free time, they'll do nails. When they have free time, they'll Uber a little bit, right? When they have free time, they might paint. When they have free time, they may clean one or two people's houses. When they have free time, they may babysit. But I'm telling you, hobbyists are not entrepreneurs. Hobbyists are not entrepreneurs. The second group of people are what? Passionists. Passionists are people who engage in business activity, and I'm gonna give you an easy word, because of their convictions. They have certain convictions, they have certain values, they have certain views, they have certain philosophies. Now, if you look up the word passionist, it's not gonna have a social connotation to it. Guess what it's gonna have? It's gonna have a spiritual connotation to it. Because back in the 1700s, passionists began to emerge, and these were people who had like this religious, they had this like religious dogmatic aggression to what they believed. They were so, keyword, passionate about their spirituality, about their relationship with God, that they separated and detached themselves from everyone else to make it clear that we are not the same. Well, we got people in business the same way, because people who are passionate in business are people who engage in business activity. But why are they doing it? They doing it because some of y'all know a lot of these people. They do it because they just love people. They do it because they just know God put that in them. They do it because they just know this is a part of their God-given assignment, but it doesn't necessitate top-line revenue. It don't necessitate this. Just because you are a hobbyist, or just because you are a passionist, doesn't mean, or a exhibitionist, doesn't mean that you're generating top-line revenue. And then we have exhibitionists. Exhibitionist, oh my God, this is a big definition here, because it's got like probably a negative connotation to it. Exhibitionists are people who engage in business activity to attract attention or to display their power or personality. Now, most of you may know exhibitionists hold a sexual connotation. You know, exhibitionists, they walk around butt naked, you know, they just free. You know, you go to the beach and they out there just letting it all hang out. These are considered exhibitionists. But there's something to that when you apply it to business, because exhibitionists are actually people who get their rocks off on displaying their charisma. You may know these people as like go-getters and hustlers, grinders. Every time you see them, you like, man, it's just something about you. You just always hustling. The problem is that hustle ain't really making you no money. You just took your ability. Especially people like me who come out the streets. You come from the hood. You come from a world where you had to scrap to make it and you had to survive, and it was a dog-eat-dog world. You're just an exhibitionist because you're just flaunting. It may not be your body or your sexuality, but you're flaunting your personality. You're flaunting your gift. You're flaunting your ability to communicate and talk with people. So even before I understood sales and marketing and financial systems and business and entrepreneurship, I always had this charisma. I always had like this personality where I could like flip this switch and just walk in the room and kind of like work the room and talk with people. It was easy for me to gel with people. But that's more of being an exhibitionist in business. And then there are people who are kind of like all versions of three. They like to flaunt their gifts. They have this passion and conviction about doing certain things, and they just love it. They enjoy certain things that they do. But what I want you to understand is that does not make you an entrepreneur. That does not make you an entrepreneur. And some of you are going to have to make the decision before you get rid of all the people and all the places and all the things that you think are hindering you from building your business or, you know, expanding your organization. Here's what I want you to consider getting rid of. Getting rid of a false idea or concept of entrepreneurship. Because if you're just someone who enjoys doing certain things that are considered to be business activities, if you're someone who just has this like spiritual conviction about, man, I just gotta make a change in the world. I believe God has called me to help people and serve people. Or if you're just the individual who just has a little gift and you talented and you got charisma, you got a personality, and you feel like, man, I should be doing this. I want you to get rid of the false or perverted idea or concept that these things individually or even a little bit of each collectively, they're not entrepreneurship. That does not make you an entrepreneur. Because if your focus is not on top line revenue, it doesn't mean you don't want to make money. It just means that you have not focused your attention on making money because you have misdiagnosed and misprioritized what being an entrepreneur is all about. So let me give you, today what I'm going to use as an example is like a cook. I'm going to use a cook as an example a couple times. But let me just start with saying this. If you were a cook, let's say if you were a cook, right? And let's say if you felt like you were pretty good at cooking, okay? Let's say if you enjoyed cooking. Let's say if you felt like being a cook was a part of your passion. It was like something you believe God gave you and that you should be providing for your family, right? So let's just say you put yourself in a position to be a cook. Would you focus on grass as much as you would on cooking? No. Would you focus on hammers and nails as much as you would focus on cooking? No. Would you focus on swimming as much as you would cooking? No. Why wouldn't you focus on those other things? Why? Huh? Say what? Because you're a cook. So you have to start seeing entrepreneurship as the thing you either want to be or the thing that you're actually becoming. And understanding that even though I can add cooking to being an entrepreneur, I can add cleaning to being an entrepreneur, but I can't make the thing of cooking, the thing of cleaning, the thing of swimming more important than the thing of being an entrepreneur. This is why most people who are entrepreneurs or small business owners never succeed. Because we let the thing that we have a hobby around, we let the thing that we are passionate about, or we let the thing that we just feel like is a talent or a skill or is a God-given ability, we let these things become more important than this thing. So as an entrepreneur, I'm more focused on entrepreneurship than I am on any other ship. So entrepreneurship doesn't get stuck in one vehicle. Entrepreneurship doesn't get stuck in one mode. Entrepreneurship doesn't get stuck with one capability or one product or one service or one industry. Entrepreneurship is what? Always looking for what is creating and producing top line revenue. But the hobbyist or the passionist or the exhibitionist, what they stuck doing? They stuck just doing because I just feel good when I do this. Yeah, but feeling good and being broke don't go together. Well, this is just my passion. This is what I know God put in me. But that don't mean it's making you no money, boo. Oh, but this is my lane here. I know when I show up in this area here. Yeah, but that area may not match entrepreneurship. So you have to make a fundamental decision. Do I want to be one of these or do I want to be this? Because if I'm going to be this, I need to be focusing on one thing. Not how good I am. I need to be focusing on one thing. Not how passionate I am. I need to be focused on one thing. Not how much I enjoy it. Because for me to say every day I wake up and do what I do as an entrepreneur that I enjoy, I would be lying to you. Because there are a whole lot of things. Like Saturday, I came into the office Saturday morning and I already knew it was going to take me about 8 hours, at least 8 hours of my day to get some things fleshed out in the business, right? And about 3 or 4 of those things I dreaded. I was like, oh my God, I wish it was already 4 o'clock and I was done with this. I had some accounting issues I had to deal with. I had some paperwork I had to deal with. I had some legal stuff I had to deal with. Oh my God, I had like 3 or 4 things that I had on my mind, like legal things and paperwork and accounting. And I was like, oh my God, I don't feel like fleshing through this. So being a hobbyist was not important to me. I'd rather stay home and just pray. But being a passionist wasn't important to me. I might have been better off or may have gotten more gratification just going on social media and doing what I do, like talking in front of the camera. But being an exhibitionist was not a part of my top line revenue. I needed to be a what? Saturday. Thank you. I needed to be an entrepreneur. That's what I needed to be. Because what I did Saturday was helping me create more top line revenue. So that wasn't social, spiritual, and it definitely wasn't sexual. Are y'all with me today? So Ramon, what is actually the difference between the hobbyist, passionist, exhibitionist, all three of these, and an entrepreneur? What is the difference? There's one word that I'm going to give you that makes up the difference between these three and this one. I wonder how many of y'all know it. None of y'all probably can guess it. Y'all like, I'm not even going to try because you come up with your own stuff. So there's one difference between those three and this one. Let me help you understand. So we have the entrepreneur, and then we have the hobbyist, the passionist, and then we have the exhibitionist. So these three are like connected together. So what is the difference between these three and this one? I'm going to give you one word. Because I honestly think the entrepreneur should have a little bit of each of these in him or her. But it cannot be more important than the entrepreneur itself. Now, I know a lot of you may have not taken one of my courses on my online training program. It's called the Blueprint Game Plan, the program. But one of the courses I have on there is called the Entrepreneur's Guide to Business. And in that course, I teach you about entrepreneurial growth, what an entrepreneur is, how entrepreneurship works. And I really take you back to like the origination of the word entrepreneur and where the concept of entrepreneurship comes from. But if you understood entrepreneurship from that perspective, or an entrepreneur from that perspective, you would actually see that entrepreneurs have a little bit of each in them. They have a little bit of each in them. So how do I distinguish the entrepreneur from the hobbyist, the passionist, and the exhibitionist? How do I distinguish those two sets of people from one another? Here's the word. The difference between the two, you can close that door. The difference between the two is that's the difference between the two. Bada bing, bada boom. Did you catch that? The difference between these three and that person there is organization. That's the difference. So remember what I just said. If a hobbyist is someone who engages in business activity for enjoyment during their leisure time, you want a little bit of the hobbyist in you, right? Because you want to be the type of entrepreneur that actually wants to take your leisure time and apply it to your entrepreneurship. So Saturday for me, that's supposed to be my day off. That's supposed to be at least the one day a week that I'm supposed to sleep in, and that I've been trying to be obedient to my wife to sleep in and not get up early before the sun comes up and just, you know, that's the day I'm supposed to wild out and enjoy myself. But what do? I happen to wake up I didn't even have my alarm set, but I still woke up before the sun came up, and I looked outside and I thought, man, do I want to feel bad when I wake up and the sun is up, or do I want to just feel real good and get up knowing that I'm supposed to sleep in? And like I struggled for like 10, 15 minutes, and I was like, Man, I'm finna get up, man. Let me go and get this win in. Cause the entrepreneur was more important to me, but there was a little bit of hobbyist in there. Cause I thought about it. Wow, how much can I actually get done today that by Monday I'll be so ahead, I'll feel so good about myself. And I lived it out. When I walked in the office today, I was like, what's happening, man? I'm so in front of the game today because I did so much Saturday. I was like, shoot. Even my CMO was in here when she walked in like, yeah, I got the email. So, we like already ahead of the game. I love that. It's the hobbyist in me. But I still have to distinguish the two. Now, the passionist, I have to say I'm a passionist at heart. Because what I do as a business owner, what I do as an entrepreneur is a part of my religious beliefs. So there's a spiritual demand, a spiritual aggression that I bring into being an entrepreneur. But I'm not going to let that get in the way of me being an entrepreneur, and I'm not going to let my convictions, my views and values as a Christian, as a man of God, affect me to the extent that it doesn't allow me to be a good organized entrepreneur. Because a lot of people do that. A lot of people claim they're entrepreneurs and they're passionists, and then every time something goes wrong, they blame the devil. Well, they ain't nothing but the enemy. And God just allowed me to go through that test. Because you're such a passionist, you never really win as an entrepreneur because you use your religious beliefs as a crutch not to be organized and to be held accountable. Come on, tell me if I'm lying. I know what I'm saying is true. And then we have the exhibitionist. The exhibitionist, as I told you, it carries a sexual connotation, but if you apply it to business, an exhibitionist is like the hustler, the grinder. They just willing to get out there and wild out and take risks. Well, you want a little bit of that into who you are as an entrepreneur. But what separates these three, individually or collectively, from this person is organization. Organization. So when my focus is on top line revenue as an entrepreneur, what do I have to get? What do I have to get? Do I have to get enjoyment? Do I have to get more religious and spiritual? Do I have to get wow? Or do I need to get organized? I need to get organized. I need to get organized. This is how I put my focus on top line revenue. So the entrepreneur, let me write that down. I can't wait till I get that board. Oh my God, because I'll be able to just clean it and keep it going. So the entrepreneur focuses on top line revenue. The entrepreneur is focusing on money, sales, the bag. That's what like the dollars. That's what the entrepreneurs is focused on. Now, if the entrepreneur gets focused on top line revenue, guess what this focus is going to demand? This focus is going to demand organization. This is going to demand organization. So, what is the first thing that you think needs to get organized? What is the first thing? Because I know some of y'all going to be like, well, I got to get my business organized. I got to get my cards organized. I got to get my logos organized. Oh, say what now? I got to get all this other stuff organized, and you ain't made a dime yet. You don't get all that organized. What you get organized is the process of exchanges that you're going to make in the marketplace. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to take my ideas. This is back to that process. Now, in order for me to take ideas, I got to organize my mind. I got to make it up in my mind that, man, I got to go up here and get some top line revenue. I got to create some sales. I gotta generate money. I gotta get the bag. And how am I going to do that? Well, I got to get organized. Well, what am I organizing? My ideas. I need to bring all my ideas together and figure out what do I have in my mind as an idea that I can convert equal into a product or a service or both. Because that's what needs to be organized. And once I bring ideas into products and services, guess what I need to do? I need to take them into the market for an exchange. I shouldn't be focusing on nothing else. I shouldn't be focusing on nothing else. So all of you out there that's claiming to be entrepreneurs and all you focusing on, and I'm not saying that you don't need to have your holding company, you don't need to have your operating LLCs. I'm not saying you don't need to have your QuickBooks situated. I'm not saying you don't need to have your EIN and your Secretary of State and your lines of credit, but you're worrying about, or let me use a better word, you're focusing on all of that and you haven't made money. You haven't made an exchange in the market with products and services that came from ideas that you organized based on your focus of top line revenue. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Listen, you do not need an EIN, an LLC, a holding company, a subsidiary, a bank account. You don't need a EIN, a Secretary of State certificate. You don't need a Paydex score, a Duns and Bradstreet. You don't need a line of credit. You don't even need money, watch this, to get your ideas and turn them into products and services, take them into the market and exchange them. You don't need none of that. You don't need none of that. I have made more money. I have made more exchanges in the marketplace with products and services that were just ideas when I had nothing to substantiate or validate them from a structure or system perspective. Meaning that I've written 2 books. I got a couple other books that I'm working on writing and releasing when I feel like it's the perfect timing. But I'm just showing you, I wrote 2 books, self-published, right? Both of my books sold. Both of my books, I wrote my first one in 2018 and then my second one in 2020. I'm just showing you. Both of my books were ideas. I turned them into products as books without having a cover page, without having a, the ISBN number on the back, without having a publisher, I didn't have nothing. All I had was an idea for a book that I called the product. And guess what I did? I created a landing page. I did. My landing pages wasn't the best, but guess what? I had one. I put a button on the landing page that said pre-order. I gave you a layout of what the chapters were going to be, all 10 chapters. And when you click the button, you were able to purchase a book that had not even been written or put into publishing to give you, but it was my idea. You see what I'm saying? So I was able to make an exchange in the market for an idea that I turned into a product or service because I'm focusing on top line revenue. And both times that I did it, without having a big following, without having a big base, I did it and probably sold like a couple hundred books or pre-sales, like pre-orders, even before I ordered my own bundle to mail out to the pre-ordered sales. So you got to get out of this other stuff. You got to get out of this other stuff. Now, again, I want you to focus your attention on these other structural and systematic processes and things that you need to build a legitimate business system, but not before you maintain your focus on what's most important. Because what you don't want to end up having is a good idea on paper with a legal entity, with systems, with processes, but no money to actually validate that you have a legitimate business. And so I want you to focus on that, okay? So let me give you an example. So how do you, if you're organizing your ideas, even before you take your ideas to the market to exchange them, I want to kind of share with you a quick process that you can do. I'm gonna give you like a quick process, because some of you are like, man, I ain't got no products. I ain't got no services. I don't really have nothing. How many of you that are listening to me right now, watching me, how many of you really have issues with products and services? Like, how many of you just feel like, man, I got a training business. I have a coaching business. Some of you might have a coaching business. Some of you may have a consulting company. Some of you may have other products that you provide, but you have nothing that you can price and take to the market. You have nothing. You like, man, I don't have anything. Like, what am I going to sell? Most entrepreneurs have this problem, which means if you look at what we talked about a few minutes ago, it means that you want to focus on top line revenue, but you don't know how to organize it. Well, the easiest way to organize it is to look at, what are your ideas? Like, what things do you have in your mind? What are your core competencies? What are the things that you feel like are a little bit of the hobbyist, the passionist, and the exhibitionist? And I gave you an example earlier. What if it was cooking? So let's say cooking is your thing. Cooking is your thing. So now you got to look at this thing and figure out how many ideas, how many concepts, how many products and services, or in other words, how many things can I create with this one idea for cooking? How many things? Well, let me show you. A product could be a cookbook, right? That's a product. So what could a service be? A service could be catering. What could another service be? Well, you can actually be a consultant. What are some other things that you can do with your cooking? Well, you could create concepts like licensing your recipes. That's a product. That's something that you can actually sell. What are some other things that you can do? Well, you can become a contractor, and you can just allow restaurants to hire you just to come in and prep some of their food up for their busy days. So these are things that you got to think about just with the one thing. But if you don't take the ideas and organize them in a way that you could create products and services, most likely you're never going to go into the marketplace. Because I hear a lot of people say, man, I just need help marketing. But what they're saying is, I need help with products and services. I need to create an inventory of items that I can actually put dollar amounts to. I got to put a dollar amount to all these things, and then I got to take them to the market. So I can start telling people, hey, guess what? I have a cooking business. I can cater. I got a cookbook. I'm a consultant. I got recipes. I'm a contractor. Oh, here's another product you might add. You might add cooking utensils. So now you may even have like a store where people can buy your utensils. Well, if you just took this one thing and went through the process of organizing the ideas, the concepts, the products and services, you could do this with anything. This cooking could be cleaning. This cooking can be training, coaching, consulting. It could be whatever it is. It could be a product that may have other ancillary ideas and concepts and services connected to. So here's what I want you to do. I want all of you that are watching me, I want you to give yourself an assessment. Give yourself an assessment. I want you to assess yourself as an entrepreneur. I want you to assess yourself. So here's the first part of the assessment. Do you want to be an entrepreneur, a successful business owner? The second part of this assessment may be, are you an entrepreneur but want to take your entrepreneurship to another level. All right. The next part of this assessment should be, if you want to be an entrepreneur, or you are an entrepreneur, but you want to succeed in business and go to the next level, do you have the organizational infrastructure in place to actually do it? Because I'm just talking about one aspect of organization. I'm just talking about you taking your ideas and you converting those ideas into products, into services, into concepts, into things that are actually monetizable. But if you have not converted those things over yet, it may be because you have an infrastructure issue. So I say this to our clients all the time that I coach and consult. Here's what I say to them. One of the reasons why you have to have a good infrastructure for the idea or the concept of your business is because your infrastructure is going to open you up to creativity. So your creativity can be affected if you do not have the proper infrastructure. So what I want to challenge you to do is, I want to challenge you to just lean in, even if you don't know how to figure everything out, even if you don't understand all aspects of organizing your business, your entrepreneurial endeavors, your ideas. I want you to at least be clear enough to lean in and say, you know what? I need help with bringing my infrastructure together. This is why we put together this one-year business coaching program. This program that we have helps you identify with the structures, with the systems, and with the processes that are needed to, number one, get you into the market as quick as possible so you can start making money. One of the statements that all of my clients may have heard me say at some point or another is, let's go after the low-hanging fruit. So we want to look at what's the low-hanging fruit. In other words, how can we talk today? How can I assess your situation today professionally as a consultant and coach? And how can I give you one or two strategies to go into the marketplace today and actually make an exchange to create and generate revenue? Most of the time, when I have this initial conversation with my clients, they either create a strategy while they're on their job to increase their revenue, or they create a strategy with their business to increase revenue. And a lot of them who do both, they work a job and they have a business on the side, I move them out of being a hobbyist into an entrepreneur, and guess what happens? Boom, they start making sales. They start making exchanges. And a lot of those exchanges may not be for a profit immediately. They may be for a purpose that leads to a profit eventually. But all of this structure, all of these systems and processes that I'm talking about are connected to how you organize your entrepreneurial endeavors. And so we're extending a 24-month payment plan right now for anyone who joins our one-year business coaching program. I want you to take it into consideration. You shouldn't even be taking it into consideration. You should just be reaching out to me today, texting the number that you see in the comments, so we can have a conversation with you to help you not just start what you want to do, not just structure what you want to do, but scale what you want to do to that place of increase and revenue. So I want you to reach out to me today. We're going to be here at the office. We are going to be ending this offer soon. Like, I'm not going to continue to extend the offer, especially as aggressive as we have it, because we're basically giving you 2 years to pay off a program that's only 1 year. That's how much I believe in this program, because I know it works. My personal assistant was speaking to just a few of our clients this morning, and almost every client she spoke with, if not everyone, she got a positive response from, and they were all telling her at different conversations at different times that they wanted to be a part of the coaching call tonight that we host, just to give their testimonies on how what I've showed them is actually working for them, and how they're starting to see the scaling process take place. So I want you to reach out to us today. Text the word coaching to the number you see in the comments. That number is 404-478-7213. I'll be more than happy to speak with you momentarily, and I can almost guarantee you, if we plug you into our one-year business coaching program, not only are you going to learn about packaging your products and your services and pricing them, but you're going to learn a lot about sales, because that's always top line revenue. You're going to learn about marketing, because that's how you're going to make your exchanges. You're going to learn about business systems, because that's how you're going to take the sales that you're making and the marketing that's generating more sales that you're making and package it in the form of a business system that actually brings you to a place to where you can learn financial strategies. We teach you strategies on how to minimize your taxes, how to maximize your tax deductions, how to create non-taxable events within your ecosystem. All of this you learn in our one-year business coaching program. So text the word coaching to 404-478-7213. It's a beautiful, marvelous Monday. We want you to get that bag, to win and get your business, your ministry, your income to the next level. Don't miss out on this offer, because when it's over, it's over. We're extending a 24-month payment plan for a one-year coaching program that is guaranteed to help you start, structure, and scale whatever it is that you're doing as an entrepreneur. Love you. Have an amazing Monday. We'll see you tomorrow right here, same place, same time on the Ramon Preston Show.